Hey, what's going on everyone? I am back from my winter break, and in this video I'm going to show you my favorite Android smartphones of 2014. I reviewed quite a few smartphones this year, and if you want to check out my full review of the smartphones I mentioned in this video, I'll leave the links in the video description below. So my first pick is the OnePlus One. OnePlus is a fairly new Chinese phone company, and they manufacture this high-end smartphone at a very affordable price. For $300, you can get the 16GB version and $350 for the 64GB. The one I have here is a 64GB sandstone version, so this has a very unique sandpaper texture on the back. It has a 5.5-inch 1080p HD screen at 401 pixels per inch, very high resolution and pixel density. For only $300, this without a doubt is the best budget-friendly smartphone of 2014. This features a Qualcomm Snapdragon 801 quad-core 2.5 GHz processor with the Adreno 330 GPU. This also has 3 GB of RAM. So the specs can match up to other high-end flagship devices 2 times its price. This has a 13 megapixel camera, dual LED flash. It records 1080p HD videos and also 4K videos. This also has excellent battery life with a 3100 mAh battery. It's running on Android 4.4.4 with CyanogenMod. Basically, CyanogenMod is a custom firmware for Android that gives you more settings and more customizations. The next one on my list is the Sony Xperia Z3. I have the copper color here, and you can actually get this phone in 4 different colors. So you can see this has a very unique design. It's quite rare to see a phone with 2 tempered glass panels on the front and on the back. But this does have some aluminum bands around the edge, making it feel a bit more premium. One thing I like about this phone is that this has a micro SD card slot, so I can insert expandable storage up to 128GB. Just like the previous Sony Xperia phones, this is a waterproof device. Sony claims that you can use your phone for up to 30 minutes underwater and down to 1.5 meters. This also has an excellent 20.7 megapixel camera that also shoots 4K videos. It is running on Android 4.4.4, but personally I'm not a huge fan of the Sony skin. But of course, this is Android. I can easily customize my phone to the way I like by downloading different icon packs or different launchers. Moving on to my third pick, this one is the Samsung Galaxy S5. By the way, I haven't had a chance to use the Samsung Galaxy Note 4. I know it's an excellent device and many people are saying that it's the best Android smartphone of 2014, but since I haven't used it, I'm not going to put the Note 4 on this list. Instead, it is the Samsung Galaxy S5. Even though the gold version looks like a band-aid and it doesn't have the best build quality, it's still one of my favorite smartphones of 2014 and also favored by many other Android users. So I'm not going to talk a lot about the specs, you can search up the specs yourself, but I'm going to mention some key features on the Galaxy S5. This has a fingerprint sensor, you can use it to unlock your device and also make purchases online using something like PayPal. Just like the Sony Xperia, this is also dust and water resistant. It's water resistant up to 1 meter and 30 minutes. One thing I love about the Galaxy S5 is the screen. This has a 5.1-inch 1080p HD screen. For me, this is the perfect screen size, and this uses the Super AMOLED technology, so the colors are vibrant, vivid, it's well saturated, and the camera on the Galaxy S5 is one of the best cameras I've ever used. With a 16 megapixel camera, this also shoots 4K and 1080p HD videos. This has a 2800 mAh battery, so it can easily last through a full day. And you can actually purchase spare batteries because it's replaceable. You can take off the back plate and replace your battery. A downside for the Galaxy S5, as you know, is the build quality. The back and the edges are still made out of plastic. So if you don't like the plastic, you can actually look into the Samsung Galaxy Alpha. It's basically a better built aluminum version of the Galaxy S5. And speaking of the build quality, let's move on to my fourth pick. This one is the HTC One M8. A full unibody aluminum device just feels extremely premium. In my opinion, this is the best built smartphone of 2014. A few key features for the HTC One M8 is that this has a 5-inch 1080p HD 441 pixels per inch density screen. This has very similar specs compared to the previous 3 phones I showed you in this video. It also supports micro SD cards up to 128GB. Aside from the excellent build quality, the speakers on the HTC One is also outstanding. The boom sound stereo speakers are probably the best speakers that you can find on any smartphone right now. Here it is compared to the Samsung Galaxy S5 speakers. A huge downside on the HTC One M8 in my opinion is the camera. For me, I do take a lot of pictures on my smartphone, and the camera on the HTC One M8 isn't really that good. It does perform really well in low light situations. The pixel size on the camera sensor is larger than most other smartphones, but it's only 4 megapixels. So even if you take a shot with sharp focus and balanced exposure, you're still not going to get a high resolution image because it's only 4 megapixels. So when you zoom into the image, it's not going to be as sharp as other smartphones like 8 megapixels or 16 megapixels. But I hope in the HTC One M9, the next generation, they will improve the camera on this device. And moving on to my last pick, this one is probably my favorite Android smartphone of 2014. This might be a surprise for some of you. It is the LG G3. I used this device for quite a while and I had a great experience with it. My favorite feature of the LG G3 definitely is the screen. This has a 5.5-inch 2K Quad HD display which is 1440p at 534 pixels per inch. This by far is the best screen on a smartphone I've ever seen. The resolution is extremely high. This is a true HD IPS display. And for a 5.5-inch large phone, it doesn't feel too big in the hand. And the reason for that is because this has tiny bezels. This also supports micro SD card up to 128GB. The build quality of this device may not be the best. It's a polycarbonate finish on the back, but it does have a brushed aluminum look to it. Especially on the black model, it does have quite an elegant design. The battery life is excellent with a 3000 mAh battery. Sometimes I can even last through 2 days of moderate usage. Just like the Samsung Galaxy S5, the battery on here is also removable. Something unique about the G3 is that the buttons are located on the back, right below the camera. It's actually quite easy to use your index finger to reach the power and the volume buttons. With high-end specs, this performs really well. I haven't really experienced any lag or application crashes. As for the software, this is running on the LG Skin and I actually quite enjoy using it. I love the animations. Overall, it's a very clean design, very elegant user interface. The G3's camera is also one of the best I've used. With 13 megapixels, it records 4K videos and also 1080p HD videos. It has a laser autofocus, so it focuses extremely fast. Pictures have well-balanced exposures, it's not overly saturated and has a nice amount of contrast. So this concludes my video. If only the HTC One M8 had a better camera, it will probably be my #1 pick. But from all the phones I've used this year, the LG G3 is still my favorite. And let me know in the comments which Android smartphone do you prefer using, and which other smartphones do you recommend to consumers, and leave your reasons down below in the comments. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and share this video with your friends on your social networks. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel for future videos. I cannot wait for 2015's new phone releases, so stay tuned for a bunch of new videos coming soon in the upcoming year. Also, if you want, you can follow me on my social networks. I'll leave the links in the video description. Thank you for watching once again, and I'll see you in my next video.